G'day, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au and welcome to my monthly update for July 2025. The monthly update is just a halfway through the month look at this month's numerological chart, as well as therefore the spiritual, intuitive, energetic, and at the end of the day also real world dynamics that could be playing through in your reality just at this time. So what I'd like to point out is the fact that July's chart has a fair few passive numbers. Passive numbers in numerology, there's two types of number. There's passive numbers, there's active numbers. So active number phases, or really, because often a phase isn't just full of active numbers, it's usually a mix of both. The active numbers are 2, 5, 8, and 3, beg your pardon. The rest of the numbers 0 through to 9, so 0, 1, 4, 6, 7 and 9, they're passive numbers. So when a chart, and therefore when a period, is carrying more passive numbers than active, what can happen is that life can start to feel as if it's standing still, going backwards, even doing really weird things. And what do I mean by that? Passive numbers in one sense, and therefore passive phases. At the end of the day, what we need to remember is that life is a sine wave. It's up and down all the time. Yeah, highs and lows, ins and outs, ebbs and flows. So what that means, in a sense, passive numbers could be seen as the ebbs, the troughs in the sine wave. Yeah, active numbers can be seen, and therefore phases can be seen as the peaks. Yeah, active numbers are when, shall we say, life allows us, the universe allows us to do, to create, to achieve, to make progress in a way that we really feel that, we really experience it, it's happening. Whereas passive numbers are inclined to sort of make us sit still. And maybe not make us sit still. So what I'm not saying is that a passive number phase is a time when no movement happens at all, when there is no sense of accomplishment or no new things, no new innovations or whatever those words are. But passive numbers tend to be more requiring of us to sit still, to pause, reflect, to review and digest, to even go back and rework things. Passive numbers are all about pause, watch, make room to learn and witness, to glean new information, to glean senses of where you need to go next, rather than just continuing with the same old themes or habits or issues or whatever those things are. So this month, July 2025, sees 4 sevens on top, and therefore everything I've just said about passive numbers could be amplified. Why do I say that? Because 7 is a bit like time in the classroom. But more importantly, it can feel like detention. Everybody else is out in the playground, but for some reason I'm stuck here. And it's always a place, when it's happening like that, it's always a place that really can feel like a punishment. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? Why don't things just connect and flow as they were? Or even as I sense they can. And in a sense, this is really interesting because 7, another aspect of 7, is too much head stuff, being in the mind too much. And therefore, in our self-talk, in our inner chatter, our narratives, about what's going on. Now, egoic self, we are all partly egoic. Egoic self in these moments can be very inclined to dip into negativity, pessimism, anxiety, worry, stress, all of those things that really are negative states, even though they're human. So egoic self can't see round corners. Its view is only as good for what it can actually envisage. Passive numbers, especially those phases that are more passive than not, they can present in ways that, hello, there's more around the corner that we can see. And what do I mean by that? In other words, okay, so we might have a good view of the world, but you know what? There are so many unknowns, or there's so much lack of movement, and I, whoever I is, can't envisage how things are going to move in the positive. I don't have a sense of things coming good now. In other words, 7 can be a time that finds us in overload by way of I don't know what's happening, and therefore I don't understand what's happening, but also I've got no idea how this is going to shift. I have no idea why I am in this. It can feel very out of control. So the other aspect of this month is the fact that the chart carries a reality number specifically, in other words, when we combine July with the year 2025, a reality number of 16-7. It also carries 3 9s. So 16-7 is all about closure. Yeah, many dynamics, many periods, even other aspects like planets, many things are about closure. And yet 16-7, you know, if you've got 1 foot off your track, whether that's from a really, shall we say, negative perspective, or even just, you know, I'm just aimlessly wandering a bit, you know, having a nice day, not thinking about everything as much as I should or could. 16-7 is a time when the universe grabs the dial and readjusts things for you. Yeah, to get you right back on track. In other words, right back in connection and in line for the vision, the life, the destiny that you already sense you're here for. So that's really interesting, because passive numbers like now, this month, it can see people caught in moments where they know what they want. They've got the vision clearly, yeah? And yet life, everything they're doing, it's just not connecting. It's almost like, and therefore the question can be, you know, have I got the wrong vision? You know, am I failing? How am I stuck? And you see how all of those words, they're all about self. And of course, we're all going to go there when things are challenging. And yet on one level, passive numbers are very much here to teach us that we're the receivers. The divine or the source or the universe, whatever you call it, that is the supplier. Now, within those statements is not the inferences that we are completely passive, lethargic, apathetic beings. Of course we're not. But you see, everything starts on the energetic level, which means that whenever passive number periods, or even just any period, is really full on in the ways that I'm describing, part of that is often because the universe is trying to say, hey, human, you are not the creator. You are not the source of everything. Not everything is down to you. It might be down to you by way of, okay, I might give you the idea or the premonition or the hunch or even the vision, and then you, human, need to run with it. You have to engage with it. You have to help make it happen. But at the end of the day, in terms of energy, which again is where everything starts from, the world of energy is such that in passive number phases, it teaches us how to receive better. And the first step of receiving is to actually observe, to witness, to be capable of receiving an insight. This also comes back to our 7s, because 7 is get wise. Get wise to what you're doing, get wise to what serves you, get wise to what doesn't, in a way that all of a sudden you become so much clearer about how life works for you, your life, not somebody else's, in a way that then makes you more of an expert in engaging with flow, in working and living, creating in flow, yeah, and allowing the universe to truly guide, truly deliver. First, as an energy that heals and clears. Secondly, as a download that informs, that enlightens, that even inspires ideas, yeah? And within that then, as the energy, as the sense, the gut feel that goes, yeah, you bang on the money, you need to go this way, you need to do that. Yeah, you've got it all. Or maybe you don't. You need to go and learn this, and this to make it happen. So passive numbers are, in hindsight, incredibly helpful, incredibly beneficial. But at the same time, in passive number periods at the front end, we can really struggle with them, even if we know this stuff. Passive numbers can see us forgetting that life is flow, and therefore forgetting that things are in and out, high and low, peak and trough, act and pause. And when we forget that, egoic self kicks in a way that it just goes into the negative, however it does that, and then it starts to block deliveries, frustrate deliveries, and tell the universe, you know what, I'm far too busy affirming in the negative to receive anything from you right now. If you've been feeling those things, if you've even been feeling over these last few days, even week, a sense of getting clearer, and I'm, on one level, that's a bit of a furphy because that's been happening for the last couple of months. Things have been getting clearer and clearer for people. Key themes, issues, dynamics have been understood increasingly in ways that, I can really let that go now. I can really step free of it. However, there's more to do, and on one level there always is. But being now just beyond the halfway point of this year, we can really help ourselves move into our receiving as energetic beings first, and therefore as intuits, ideas receivers, ideas people, as a first step. So in a sense, 7 tips or lessons from 7. 1, get out of the future. Any sense of worry, any sense of anxiety, any fretting about tomorrow. Is it going to happen? Will life support me? Can I do this? All of those things, even though it's really easy for me to say because I'll do this in the next second as well. But any sense of that is the sign that we are too much in the future. We're supposed to be present now, not forecasting what's about to happen. And the minute we go negative, we're forecasting. That doesn't mean just cover the negative up with a lid. It means, acknowledge what you're doing, breathe it out, give it back to the universe, acknowledge that the universe is real, and just say, it's over to you. I let you flow. I let you send me, not because I'm going to sit with my feet up 24/7 and do nothing with that. But more, I'm going to let you show me what I need to do next. I'm going to let you confirm what's happening before I continue in my negative dialogue too far. In a way that we get to test the theories of what we're embracing, in a way that we also allow ourselves to move more and more into, I don't know, I don't need to know first, I need to receive first on the energetic and intuitive level. The better I am at that, the better I am, whoever I is, at making space for the universe to inform, to clear, to heal, to guide, yes, to protect, all of those things, to assist on any level. The more room we give the divine to fall on in, as in, drop on in from above, if that's the way to say it, fill the room with itself, and therefore fill the stage, fill the mic with everything it's got to show us, to teach us, to tell us. The more room we give it, the more we tend to receive as a download. The other aspect, the other lesson of 7 is also too that aspect of universal will. Sometimes and I understand this video is going a little bit longer, but just bear with me. Sometimes, especially when things seem stuck or in the negative, egoic self is very good at forgetting that, at the end of the day, the universe is in charge. The minute we hand it back to universal will, and therefore in that moment, respect and acknowledge the fact that the divine is real. It's an intelligence, that knows far more than we do. And if we know that, if we actually hi, I know you're there, I let you do what you need to do, often just doing that can see energy shifting in, around and away from the body, and also towards as new forms of guidance, energy and download. So in a sense, the big message for July 2025 is to remember to give Source all the room it needs to perform. Not perform for you, but to perform for itself, to just be what it is, to do what it can, to declare itself, to prove itself, to show itself. Not because it has to prove, but just because, it's real. And as human beings, we are still learning that. Even if we can say it, even if we've experienced it, every day will bring us another excuse to know it, to practice it, to channel it, and to allow it to happen to the next degree, the next layer of tangibility, and therefore the next length of physical world outcome. So all the very best to you as you continue your journey through July. Know you're doing well. Remember, life is a sine wave. Enjoy that ride. Yeah? There's no such thing as negative on a spiritual level. Yeah? The more we know that, the more we get out of the way and allow the trough to become the peak and the outcome we've always sensed. Take good care, travel well. If you need a hand, let me know. psychicandenergywork.com.au. You'll find my contact details there. All the very best. See you soon.